Hey YouTube, Hero Quality here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Gredora Megacolony deck profile for premium format July 2019. Following the premium collection 2019, I felt an update was due for another deck, this one being the Gredora Megacolony, receiving the most recent support in the premium collection for Megacolony. Now, when I was making the deck profile, I could have swore that I pulled a Gredora Stride, one of the new ones, to help with the Darkface support. Sadly, I was mistaken. I actually pulled the basically the Great Nature and the Neo Nectar ones, but after building the deck profile and then just missing the one Stride, I still wanted to give you all the deck profile, just show you what cards to take out for the Progenitor, or I believe it's the Progenitor Dragon, and also for the Gredora Strides. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off for these Strides, I run 4 Merciless Mutant Deity Darkface as a once per turn Vanguard effect of Dark Device of Counterblast 1, and choose a face down card from your G zone and turn face up. Choose up to the same number of your opponent's rear guards, number of face up Merciless Mutant Deity Darkface in your G zone until the end of your opponent's turn. They get the continuous. This card cannot intercept and it cannot be chosen by card effects. And for each rear guard chosen with this effect, your units get plus 5,000 until end of turn. So it's good pressure, limiting your opponent on what they can do with their cards especially, and then just setting up more for your other skills that you have with Gredora as well. So I like to run 4 of this card for those plays. Now I have 4 Stun Beetle in the deck, but this is the card I would take out if you have the new Gredora Stride. It just adds a little more pressure for Dark Device in the deck, obviously, than Stun Beetle would with its restricting the Vanguard from restanding skill. So this would definitely come out for the Gredora Stride if I had it, just for that additional pressure with that card. And the same would be for Zoa, taking this card out for the slot of the Progenitor Dragon, giving you that basic addition power for the free Strides in the deck, which is a definite boost, especially with all the striding you do for this deck, not having any other really reliance for other cards with the deck, but also for the fact that it gives you that skill of making you basically unable to lose the next time you would be dealt damage for a loss in the game, which is a definitely broke skill for Zoo especially, and especially useful for Megacolony, just with the limit your hand size can be at times with the investment of all your plays as well. And I also have in here adjusting my numbers between how many Overwhelm I want to run. I have 1 Tyrantus in here, which is the Generation Break 8, and then the Overwhelm in here, just for that additional pressure with the extra critical and the Drive +1 as well. Especially good the first turn pressure as well. If I want to add more additional units, I would first take out the Tyrantus and then, adjust my numbers of Darkface, just for maybe a 3-3 ratio of this card as well for the deck. But then also, one of my favorites still in the deck is Lawless Mutant Deity Obiturandis. With this one, it is a Gen Break 2, Counterblast 2, and choose a card from your hand and discard it. Your opponent cannot call his or her units to rear until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this really does limit your opponent on what they can do. Just stopping calls in general with this card really does come in handy. It is kind of a cost-heavy card with some of the other cards you run in the deck. That's why I decided just to run 1 of it in the deck. But other than that, I really do like it because you have so much different variety with all the different Megacolony Strides we have for this deck, and working with Gredora and the other cards definitely does come in handy, especially with all the other ones you want. And then for the Generation Guards, I have 2 Mutant Deity Fortification Grisfort. A Counterblast 1, when this unit is placed on guard during the battle that your Vanguard was attacked by your opponent's Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, rest all of your opponent's units in the back row, and this unit gets +5 for every 2 of your opponent's rest until the end of battle. So those boosts definitely do come in handy. Not so much against, Excel decks that have the Excel circles, since it won't rest those units, but if they still have, invested units to boost, especially with the units that go with the Vanguard attack first, this card definitely does put a damper on your opponent's plays by taking care of pesky cards that would have been a big boost, especially for some of your opponent's other units that haven't attacked yet. And I also run 1 Feather Whale Mutant Deity. This is just a 1 placed on G-Circle. If the number of your opponent's stand units is 2 or less, it gets +10 shield. So just easy shield for some of your opponent's units that have the plus trigger power. And also 1 Relish Lady, just for the additional rest for counter charge and soul charge for the setup as well, and also working very, very well with the discard draw for Relish Girl as well, which is the preferred heal in the deck, just going off of the whole fact that it has a fact that benefits the use of G-Guards in the deck also. And that is it for the Stride Zone. Moving on to the grade 3s, I run 4 Evil Governor Darkface Gredora. It's a once per turn counterblast when this unit is placed on Vanguard, or when your G unit strides, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a column, and your opponent cannot call cards to the rear in that column during the next turn. It also has a Vanguard Generation Break 1, Soul Blast 1 at the beginning of your ride phase. You may pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses a face-up card in his or her damage zone, turns it face down, and you countercharge 1. So you're basically stealing your opponent's counterblasts for your own, and also just making it so your opponent's columns are rendered useless with this card. It's also your main one to use with the new Gredora as well, so a definite staple in the deck especially. Along with the backup grade 3, which I run, is 4 Intimidating Mutant King Darkface Elicities. With this one, it is a Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed on Vanguard or rear, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a column, rest all of your opponent's rear guards in that column, and they cannot stand during your opponent's next stand phase. And a Vanguard or rear Generation Break 2 Dark Device. During the battle that this unit attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets plus 10,000, and your opponent cannot intercept. So kind of keeping up to trend with the original Darkface with that power, but also sort of assisting with Gredora, being that Gredora only has the Vanguard circle skills, and you can use Elicities on the rear guard as well. Sort of that backup to your Vanguard especially. And then for the grade 2s, I run 4 Lighthorn Mutant Dangerous Horn. When this unit is placed on Vanguard or rear, choose a card from your hand and reveal it. If neither that card nor your Vanguard is a card with Darkface in its card name, this unit gets minus 5,000 until end of turn. And on rear, if you have a grade 4 Vanguard with Darkface in its card name and the number of your opponent's stand rear guards is 1 or less, it gets plus 6,000. So it's just an easy power boost card with the deck, especially since a lot of the Protect cards for Megacolony have the 9k power. Keeping a 10k power for a ride target definitely does help when you're going up against other Force decks in premium format that just have that 10k power. That makes it sort of difficult for some of your other cards unless you're boosting them to have that additional strength, or if they got the plus 5 with their own skill, or the plus 6. And I also run 4 Machining Mantis on Vanguard or rear when placed. You counter plus 1. Look at 6 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 grade 3 card from among them. Put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck, and this unit gets plus 6,000 until end of turn. So just that added plus 6 power definitely does help when you're attacking your Vanguard, like I said, with Dangerous Horn. But also being able to search out the specific grade 3 you need for your play is another important part of the deck. So you know that you want to ride the proper Gredora Darkface, and then have the other Elicities on rear to use with the skills that I already specified with the deck. And I also run 3 Bloody Hercules just to finish off the skill. When placed, you Soul Blast 1. This unit gets plus 6,000 to end of turn. And when an attack hits and one of your units gets plus 6 until end of turn. So just moving back and forth between the number of Darkface cards, I felt like just the proper units, along with the ratio search, was at its maximum number for your cards on the field. So Bloody Hercules just having that additional power boost on Vanguard or rear, and being able to give it to other units as well, definitely does come in handy with the deck. And for the grade 1s, I run 4 Machining Hornet. When it attacks, or the attack that boosted a Vanguard hits, you look at 6 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 grade 3 card from among them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. And if you put a card into your hand, this unit on rear guard, you put it into the soul. So basically another search for the grade 3s, but also making up for it for the fact that this card will go into the soul, giving you a little more soul blast power as well, but also making up for the fact that you did search a grade 3 also. And I also run 4 Small Captain Butterfly Officer. When placed, rest this unit and choose one of your opponent's choose one of your other rear guards. It gets plus 10,000 until end of turn. And if you choose at the end of that turn, put that unit into your soul, and you countercharge 1. So it may have the 6k power, but being able to give plus 10k to another unit on the field definitely makes up for that. But also giving you the countercharge as well is an added bonus just for more of your skills later on, especially all the strides we run in the deck for that added counterblast that it just eats up very, very quickly. And also, I run 3 Little Dorcas. I know we have the Progenitory Dragon in the deck, but just for additional bonus, since we don't run any additional grade 3s, we only run the 4 Darkface Gredora and the 4 Darkface Elicides. The Stride fodder definitely does help in the form of Little Dorcas, and also for the fact that when you place it, you can reveal a grade 3 and search out a proper one with Darkface and its name also, which is all your grade 3 options in the deck. And to finish off the grade 1s, I run 3 Spiteful Hopper. When placed, you Soul Blast 1. One of your other units gets +6 until end turn. If you have no face-up cards in your damage zone, counter charge 1. Just more counter charge power, which definitely does come in handy along with the other power boosts, especially with some of your cards like Bloody Hercules for the deck. So that added bonus, and also if you reach the end of your counter blast, this one for the unflipped also comes in handy. Since the heal trigger doesn't counter charge itself, it just has the discard draw. And then for the grade 0s, I run 1 Machining Worker Ant. It's just your standard format starter that I decided to keep in the deck for the fact that it just has good draw power, stays in your soul, and gives you other needed cards you could use. You don't really need the Rear Guard Forerunner boost for your units, since most of the time your grade 2 Vanguard, which is the one you're worried about the most hitting, will have the added bonus power, or be the 10k, which we spoke of already. And then for the new critical, I'm running 4 of the Megacolony Battler F. GB1, when your Vanguard attacks, put this unit into your soul, draw a card, and one of your Vanguards gets plus 10,000 to end of battle. It has the stats, as I've said, like all the other criticals for the new Premium Collection 2019, of the 10,000 power and the 15,000 power shield. So you just have the best critical, I would say, to run in the deck for that added bonus especially. And I decided to also run 4 Bomb Scissor just for the additional +5 power and draw it can do on Rear Guard along with your Battler F. So I just like having both those options with the criticals in the deck. And I also run 4 Gourmet Battler Relish Girl for the discard draw when it is used for 7-star Mutant Deity Relish Lady. But like I said, this effect just makes up for the fact that it doesn't have the 20k shield, since your G Guardians also will make up for that, since you'll be using those most of the time for those anyway. And for the draw trigger, just the standard Paralyzed Madonna for the draw trigger / Perfect Guard that you could run in the deck, so you can keep your grade 1 lineup a little more open for your plays. And that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll definitely be working on more premium decks until the next booster set for Standard comes out, so definitely look forward to those. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.